Good morning, good evening. So, this is another Thursday. Are you ready for the gratitude practice? Okay, so if you're new here, what we do here is we pick a stone, and every stone has something written on it. And I say three gratitude, one word with one gratitude, and with three words, three different gratitude. And sometimes I tell a little story too whenever I have one with this. So it's kind of fun, a different way of doing gratitude practice, because sometimes if we do it exactly the same, it can become like a chore after like 6 months or a year, and then you want to switch the type, the form. Okay, so let's try the first one. Okay, I have no idea what the word is going to be, and that's fun too. Clarity, clarity. So I am so grateful that I have so much more clarity in my life. Why I say this is because a year and a half ago, I lost my marriage and the job at the same time. Now I have a smile on my face. At the time, I didn't. I was in a very, very dark tunnel. And 40 something, your identity is your job, that you're married, you're a mom, and all of that, right? Because society has that pressure, or we take on that pressure. Society doesn't tell us to take on that pressure, but we do. If you think of it, you go to a party or something, the first thing people would ask is, oh, what do you do, or where do you live? Like, those are the first few questions. So you are wired to think that, okay, what do I do? And I didn't have what I do, right? And then I was not married anymore after many years. um, so it was hard. But I kept looking. I kept looking within to transform myself. First few months were hard, extremely hard. And then last May, which was about 6 7 months after, I would say about 6 months after I started this channel. I was thinking to start about 3 4 months after, but I was still not fully ready. And then 6 months after I started this channel, at the time I had no idea. I created this for my own survival guide. In the future, I didn't know if I need again to survive from something, because I knew in the past I had different kind of survival. I lived through, because all my family is in India, and I have been here 20 years by myself. And I was like, I have gone through many hardship, and if this has been the hardest thing, so if I can live through this, I know that I can live through anything. And then again, it's all in our mind, all in our story. For somebody else, something lesser extreme could feel like more extreme depending on the life's journey, and somebody else who had been through even more hardship than me, for them this might not be as difficult as it may seem to us, because we all have different journey. We all have different perception about the same experience, because all of our journeys are very different. 8 billion people, 8 billion unique journey. That's what I always say. So yeah, I started having the clarity more, I would say, from last fall. And yeah, I'm so grateful. So very grateful for that. Now, the second word. Okay, so you guys can see it too. I just kind of like to pull from the bottom so that I don't know. Faith. This is very interesting. Faith. So for me, faith is God. And I grew up Hindu pretty much all my life, and I was not too religious. I believed in God, but not overly religious. And then when everything fell apart, I I practiced Buddhism for 5 6 months. I went really deep, and if you know my personality, I am one of those people who would go vertical, not horizontal. What I mean by that is, horizontal is like, think of it like, oh, you're learning about 4 or 5 different religions. Like the high level each of those. And then vertical is you go deep and learn about that specific religion, right? So that's what I did for Buddhism. I went deep, vertical. And For me, I'll share a story in other videos sometime, and if you're interested, let me know in the comment. Buddhism worked like really like a bridge between Hinduism to Christianity, uh, and I don't know if it will ever resonate with anybody. It did resonate with me. Again, goes back to different journey and all of that stuff, right? When I was following Buddhism, a lot of Thich Nhat Hanh books. One of them, it's called Power of Prayer, or the Energy of Prayer. I think Energy of Prayer. And I used to listen to that book last year this time, I would say 40, 50 times. And that book has Lord's Prayer in it. And Lord's Prayer from Jesus, from Bible. And I would find that intriguing. And also, I used to read another book, which I shared in a lot of those videos, the daily videos I used to make. It's called The Book of Joy, with Desmond Tutu and Dalai Lama, right? So the top figure in Buddhism and one of the top figure in Christianity, and they spend a week together to celebrate Dalai Lama's birthday. So, and that book is about that, the Book of Joy. So I felt like, two different, the top people from two different religion, and they're close friends, like, and then there is like a lot of time different people from different religions sometimes don't get along together. So I'm like, if they can get along, we can get along, right? I used to find them like super, super interesting, and I would learn things from those. And so that's how my new faith unfolded when I became Christian late last year. And I know that, and I wear it because, not necessarily because I became Christian. It gives me courage, it gives me, I don't know, confidence, whatever you want to call it. Or it reminds me to believe in myself, to believe in God, to believe in the path that I'm on, the trust, like, the trust in the path, that is important. Accepting everything, just moving the, and I just lay back a little bit, so I'm just moving the tripod. Sorry, I trying it. Okay, so sorry about that. So yeah, somehow that all came in a way, and there are a lot more experiences that I'm just keeping it high level. So faith has faith and fear. All my fear disappeared, and I used to get afraid even in a dark room and stuff like that, but now no. And there are many other fears. Like, I used to go for external validations, and now I don't really care for external validations. And it's not that it's good to get the encouragement and support from your friends or family or whoever, but only support you need is from God, right? And when you have that feeling, when you have that at the core of you, that this is what I need, the life completely changes, because that's what gets you going. Because the friends or family, whoever is complimenting you, whoever is telling you, okay, it's great, you will keep going. But if that stops, you're gonna stop going, and the journey is continuing, and the journey is unfolding, and you will be happy if you are not waiting for others' validation. It's nice to get compliment, everybody likes it, but not waiting for that. Okay, so that's my faith has done for me, and I'm so grateful. And there are so many people who also helped me in this journey. Okay, so now the last one. Let's see. Friends. Friends. So Friends is actually, it's the second time, because generally what happens is, when I pick the stones, I put them separately, so that what I picked last week I won't end up picking this week. But some of them are repeat. So the Friends, I think I have done a few weeks ago, but I'm gonna still do again, because Friends, I'm so grateful for my friends, so very grateful, especially in my life. Some of the friends have played such a huge role, especially after everything fell apart, and it can be only designed by God. It's there is no other way to explain it. How the amount of support I got from old friends, somewhat new friends, and somewhat like the friends who were friends before, but then we became good friends again. In between we were not in touch. Um, that had to be just designed. It had to be designed. The God, the universe, divine, whatever resonates with you. So for me, so in your journey, if you're going through that, just trust the path and um, get the support and the help that you need, and support each other, because in this journey, if you know some other people going through the same journey, as you support each other, it is going to also fill your heart, like, because I remember last year there were so many different things I attended. Of course, there's counseling, and then a divorce recovery, and one or two of my friends who were also going through similar things. We would meet up, we would talk about things, and that was healing, right? So it was healing for them, it was healing for me. And I do Toastmasters, and I did speeches about that. And for me, it was easy at Toastmasters because I know them for a long time. So now, if you are in a new Toastmasters club, you may not feel as comfortable talking about your marriage falling apart or job situation. It's totally understandable. But people, you may have some people that you can trust in your life, your friends or whoever. Talk about it. But also, what is important is not overdoing it. So I will cover some of it in different videos where, I have been learning about self-help industry, and a lot of people, you name it, I have studied them, 50 to 100 people, maybe more, I don't know. So when everything fell apart, I was like, how come all of this is not pulling me out quickly? And that's how I came up with my own framework. I saw what was missing, and I'm in the process of getting them trademarked. So, you know, one of the thing is, if you have been coming here often, you know that I talk about it's thinking, speaking, action. Thinking, speaking, action. They go in kind of like a triangle. Um, so I won't go much detail in this video, because speaking is like, more you keep talking about where you are and the sadness, it continues. And that's what I mean by not overdoing it. You do it for a day, a week, few months, maybe a year, but after that you got to pull yourself out from that, right? So you have to change your speaking to where you want to be, how you want to see your life to be. And I started doing that, like, and that's when my life shifted. And I know it takes time. So last fall, from there is, I think, slowly I started shifting that. And I would catch myself going back there, and I will pull myself up. Even now it happens, like, sometimes I will catch myself, but I catch myself more now. So it's easier for me to, because everything is like a habit, it's a practice. So so yeah, it's about, like, it's that, like, speak what we want to do. So my friends, they helped me to get those emotions out. And then eventually also, a lot of time they would tell me things that would help me to look at the future, like, oh, how it could be versus how it has been. And at the same time, they did it in a way, such a gentle way, that I didn't feel overly pushed, right? So I'm so grateful for my friends. So I said a long story about my friends, but that's why they really hold a big space in my heart. Clarity, you know, do the things that will help you to get clarity in your life, especially after divorce or job loss. Have faith that you are on the right path. And finally, friends, and if you have family who really support you, they are your great asset. Be grateful for that. I am so grateful. Write your story down here. I want to hear. Bye.